Hello and welcome to this Android development tutorial. This is part 2 of our how to make a calculator app tutorial. In the previous tutorial we did the layout stuff, we did the combination of view settings, on-click listener setting, and view listeners on Java. So here we have a little error, and the only thing we have to fix it is to press a semicolon to end the line, and the error is solved in case you didn't notice it. Now, as I told you previously, there was something pending on the previous tutorial, and it was that we wanted the text to appear at the center but also at the right side of the text view. So it turns out that it has a pretty simple solution. We press and apart from center, we tell it to do it right with this separator right here, which is kind of a large L. It's kind of the L but larger. It's a symbol that usually is near the enter key. You can find it in your keyboard. Okay, and so now to test this, we will say text and hello, and as you can see, it appears to the right side of this text view. So we will, so that was just for aesthetic purposes, but okay. So let's continue to the tutorial, and here we find that we have created the buttons, the text view, and set the listener to every button we have. Okay. In my case, I have 107 lines, so you should have about the same. Right now, we will start outputting numbers. So, how do we do this? For example, when the button 0 is pressed, we want it to print the number 0 into the screen. So we will say calculator screen set text double quotes and 0. Okay, so to test this, I will use an emulator. You can do it in a real device if you want, or you can also do it on an emulator. So we are doing this tutorial step by step in order for you to really understand what's going on. What are we saying here is to set the text view to the calculator screen. So we can change the screen as in a real calculator when the button is set. Okay, so while we wait, oh, it's already loaded. Okay, so this is the previous tutorial we made, but we will wait a little bit here. So as I was telling you, the screen of the calculator displays the numbers that will be calculated, the operations, and the result of it. So here we have our calculator, and if we press these buttons, nothing will take place here, but if we press the 0 button, then the 0 will appear right here, okay, because we set it. So please make sure you have done this, and if you haven't, please repeat the video or the previous tutorial if you need to. Okay, so here we have 4 buttons right here that are kind of special buttons, which are the operations, and we have 10 buttons that are numbers, and additional to that we also have the dot button, which is part of numbers if you can think that way, and also the equals or the solve button. Okay, so we have to do different things right here. So we used set text to set this 0 right here, but that's not really very useful, because if we press then another button, then 0 will be gone, and we don't want to do that. We want to append the characters, so we will use the append function instead the set text. So we will delete set text, and instead of set text we will say append. Okay, pretty easy and simple. And we will do the same with every button that has to be displayed on the screen, like the numbers. Okay, so we will start just with the numbers. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We will run the app again and we will see how it works. Okay, so we have our new app right here. If we press 0, the 0 will appear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Great, right? Pretty fun. Okay, so we can notice here that the color of the screen numbers are not that black. So it will be cool to make them black and make them a little bit larger, okay? So we will do just that right now. So instead of 25 SP, we will go with 30 SP. And we will set text color to number sign followed by 6 zeros. Okay? We can press Ctrl Alt L to reformat our code, and then we will run the app again to see if it's better looking. Okay? So as we run the app, we can press the buttons and see that they are black now and also larger, which is great. Now, what happens if you didn't want to press a button and you want to delete it? Okay, so we want to add a delete button, delete the previous character or something like that. We will add that as a new linear layout at the top right here. So we will open and say linear layout with match parent, height 0 dp, weight 1, orientation horizontal, and inside it we will copy a button we already did, like the 7, and we will actually create 2 buttons. Okay, one will be to delete the previous character. I will call it DEL. Okay, and the other one will be to clear everything. So clear everything, and we will display CE. Okay, we reformat the code, and we have to again generate a new buttons right here for this. We will do it outside the buttons we already created. So we type final button delete, and we will say find view by ID r.id that delete, or del in this case, and we will say delete set on click listener new on click listener. Okay, and what happens when the delete button is pressed? So going back to the emulator, we want, for example, if I press 9, I want the 9 to be deleted, and if I press delete again, I want the 8 and the 7 and so on. So how do we do this? Okay, so basically we have to change what is displayed. For that, we will use a string. Displayed elements. Okay, and we will set it to calculator screen dot get text. Okay, and that to string. Okay, Now, the displayed element string contains what is displayed on the calculator screen, and we want to delete the last element of this, okay? And we also don't want to do anything if there's nothing to delete, okay? So for that we need to check the length of this string. So we will go say int screen length, we can say, or something like, or just length, okay? And we will set that to displayed elements that length, okay? And we will type if length is greater than 0, we will delete the previous one, because if it's 0, so it's empty, we don't have anything to delete, and it will generate an error, which we don't like to. We hate errors, okay? So right now, if the length of our string is greater than 0, at least it has to have one character, okay, to be deleted. We will change displayed element content. So we will set displayed elements is equal to display elements that substring, and with substring we cut a part of the string we don't want, okay? And we have to pass two parameters. The first one is the begin index, which in this case will be 0, because we always start with 0. Okay, the begin index is 0, and the end index will be length minus 1, because in programming we start counting from 0. I think you should already know that. So we will be length minus 1. Okay, and now we have to update the screen. So we'll say calculator screen dot set text will be displayed elements, because remember, displayed elements now is one character shorter right here. So if we dry run this on our head, imagine we have one character and the length is 1, okay, because we have 1, and if we subtract 1 from that, it starts with 0 and ends with 0, so we have 0 elements, which is 1 minus 1 is 0, so that's kind of cool. So now we will run the app and see if this is working as we expect. Okay, so we have to use the del button, okay? So we will press 8 del, and it's gone. 8 and 9 del, okay? So it's working fine. Now we can delete the numbers we press. Great, right? Okay, but we also created this other button, which is doing nothing yet, as you can see. So we have to also do something with that button, which is clear everything, which is way easier, I think. So final button clear everything. We will set it to find view by id r.id clear everything, and we will say clear everything that set on click listener. So in this way I can say that we can create as many click listeners as we want, or we have a lot of elements that do kind of the same thing. We can create one listener for every one of them, as we did here. Okay, it is more of design and that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is not the best design, but it's easy to learn. Okay, so new on-click listener, and inside the on-click listener we just have to clear everything, so it's way easier. So to do that, we will say calculator screen set text to double quotes. So nothing, empty. And we will go and run the app and check if it works. Okay, let's test if the clear everything button is working fine. So we type the clear everything and it clears everything. So pretty interesting stuff we did here. Okay, this is it for this video, and in the next video we will start actually figuring out how we can actually make the calculator to calculate doing operations and all these cases that are pending right here. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you in the next one.